So I visited Scotland's most physical track, and you won't believe what happens next. So here Let's Go Green and I catch up to Kurt 22 and slightly hit him. And a second later I catch up to Kurt 22 and get side by side with him and overtake him. And a few seconds later I catch up to Kurt 21 and get side by side with him, but then the session gets red flagged and I don't overtake him. But when the lights go yellow, this guy just doesn't move, and that means I get a pretty easy overtake. And as I get to this bit, I easily overtake this guy on the outside because I have more speed, but then I get the inside of Court 4, but I accidentally hit him a little bit and I apologize. But after that, I catch up to Court 26 and overtake him on the outside because I'm just faster on this bit. And a few seconds later, I catch up to Court 8 and overtake him on the inside. I guess that's 4 overtakes in 1 lap. That's pretty impressive, honestly. But after a lap, I catch up to this group of people right here, and Court 21 is slowing all of us down, like, look at this. But I take advantage of the situation and go for the outside and overtake Court 6, but then Court 21's in the way, so Court 6 overtakes me back. But after that, Court 21 is still holding me back, so I try to go for the outside, but I have no space, so I don't overtake him. But when I get to the long straight, I'm just faster, so I overtake him on the outside quite easily. Which means I catch up to this group of people right here, and now they're getting held back by the guy in the pink suit. And a few seconds later, I go for the inside and overtake Court 6, and when I catch up to Court 17, Court 22 just cuts him off, and I overtake both of them quite easily. I guess that's a double overtake. And when I get to the straight, I catch up to this guy and overtake him on the outside because I'm a lot faster than him. And then I catch up to Court 26 and he slows me down a lot, so I don't overtake him. And when we get to the apexes, I just barge through him and get the overtake. I don't know if that was fair, but I gave him my apology anyways, so I think that's all good now. And when I get to this apex, I overtake Court 8 on the outside quite easily because I got more speed on that bit. And then I catch up to Court 10 and he cuts me off. So I go for the inside and overtake him. And after that, I catch up to this group of people right here, and me and Court 9 overtake Court 4. And then Court 9 overtakes the guy in the green suit, so I overtake him too. But after that, we both catch up to Court 21 and I accidentally hit Court 9. But shortly after, I managed to overtake Court 21 too. If you're wondering, Court 9 is one of the fastest people on the session. But when I get to the straight, someone's side by side with me, but I overtake Court 10 and Court 10 is blocking the guy that tried to overtake me. So now he's not side by side with me anymore. And after that, Court 17 goes for the inside and overtakes me. I guess that's the first time I got overtaken on the session. But when I get to the straight, I managed to overtake the guy in the pink suit because I just had a better exit. And a few seconds later, Court 14 doesn't get a good exit, so I overtake him. And as I'm speeding through his chicane, Court 17 slows down a lot, and that causes me to brake and crash into the barrier. But this isn't the worst bit because it took ages for the marshals to yellow flag the session. So here I'll put a timer up and you can see how long it took. I had to wait 22 seconds for the session to get yellow flagged. I don't know what the marshals were doing, but I could have been out my car on the floor. Luckily this was a public session and most of the drivers are not the fastest, so no one hit me. So now I'll stop talking and let's get into the video. So here the lights go green and I go for the inside and overtake Court 22. But then I go for the outside and try to overtake Court 26, but that doesn't work. So I brake a little bit earlier and try to pull a switchback, and that works, so I get overtake on Court 26. And after that, I go for the outside and overtake Court 8. And then Court 14 unexpectedly brakes and he lifts his hand up because I hit him. I don't know whose fault that was, but I don't blame him. I would have probably done the same thing. But after that, Court 14 goes white, so I go for the inside and actually manage to overtake him. And on the same straight, I also managed to overtake Court 21. I guess that's a double overtake. And after the long straight, I get a better entry into this hairpin and overtake Court 10. And half a lap later, I absolutely mess up my braking right here and spin out. Luckily, the marshals actually put out a yellow flag this time. Here the lights go green and I catch up to Court 8 and overtake him on the inside quite easily. But a second later I catch up to Court 9 and he's in a wall. But I didn't see what happened. But from his POV we can see he's battling some people. And Court 6 brakes and Court 9 did not expect that and went straight into him. And then he stopped, causing a yellow flag. And that means I get a free overtake. But after that yellow flag, I catch up to Court 6 and overtake him on the inside, but then Court 21's in the way. But he goes wide for some reason, so I get easy overtake on the inside. And a lap later, I catch up to Court 14 and he's going really slow, so Court 9 manages to find a gap and overtake me. But now Court 9 is getting held back by Court 14. So he goes for the outside and that actually works. So that meant I do the same move and overtake cart 14. But then cart 9 goes for this move and overtakes cart 8, but that doesn't work for me. So that meant I go for the inside on the straight and overtake cart 8. And a lap later I catch up to this group of people right here and cart 22 tries to overtake cart 9, but he backs down, so I overtake cart 22. But it's now my turn to try overtake cart 9, but that doesn't work out because now it's the end of the session. To be honest, that session was quite interesting, but now let's get into session 2. So here the lights go green and I overtake these two guys on the straight, and then I catch up to this group of people right here and I manage to overtake cart 26 on the inside. But then I try to overtake cart 10 on the outside, but cart 14 is in the way, so I can't overtake him. But a few seconds later I catch up to cart 14 again and overtake him on the outside because I had a better entry. And after that I try to do the same move on cart 10, but he blocks me off. But as we get to this ramp I catch up to cart 8 and overtake him on the inside because he's slower, but I still don't manage to overtake cart 10. But as we are racing through a straight I go for the outside, but he closes the gap off, so I can't overtake him. But as we get to this hairpin, I try to go for the inside, but he blocks me off and I kinda hit him. Luckily I didn't get black flag for that because the marshals were right in front of me. Or they were not paying attention for some reason. And as we are racing through a straight, I catch up to him and he slows down a lot, which causes me to hit the barrier. And then cart 10 brakes a lot on this bit and cart 4 manages to overtake me. So now I have 2 people that I have to overtake. But a few laps later, me and the other guys catch up to this guy in the purple suit and we all overtake him because he's just stopped on the track. I don't know what he's doing. And a lap later, I'm still behind cart 4 and he just slows down a lot on the straight and that causes me to hit him. Luckily, it didn't turn into a crash. But on this hairpin, he lets me through, but there's more hairpins, so I still don't overtake him. But as we get to this next hairpin, cart 4 misjudges his braking and kinda spins out, but luckily he didn't cause a yellow flag. And a few seconds later, we both catch up to cart 14 and he's a lot slower than us, so we both overtake him on the outside. And a lap later, I'm still behind him and I go for the inside, but he has a faster cart than me, so he overtakes me back. And a lap later, cart 4 is now getting held back by cart 21 and I use this to my advantage and overtake him on the inside. But now cart 21 is my problem because he's still a lot slower than me. And a few seconds later, I go for the inside, which turns into the outside and overtake cart 21 successfully. But when I get to the straight, I catch up to cart 8 and overtake him on the outside quite easily. At least I'm not getting held back by anyone anymore. And a lap later, I catch up to these guys and one of them is stuck on the ramp. And I almost hit the guy in the green suit, but luckily that didn't turn into a crash. But luckily the marshals were paying attention and they actually yellow flagged the session. Here I catch up to cart 14 and I'm a lot faster on the straight, so I overtake him on the outside. And then I catch up to these guys and cart 21 is a lot slower than both of us, so we both overtake him. But a lap later, the session gets yellow flagged because cart 9 is in a barrier and cart 6 thinks it's a red flag, so I tell him to move. Maybe he thought he can't overtake anyone even if they're stopped. But after that, someone goes for the inside and gets side by side with me, but I close the gap off so he can't overtake me. But then someone hits me and then cart 17 is on the inside again and overtakes me. I don't know who hit me, but at least cart 17 got the overtake. But when we get to this ramp, I go for the inside and cart 17 closes the gap off, leaving me no space, so I can't overtake him. But I managed to overtake cart 9 instead because he's just slower than me. And then I managed to overtake cart 4. I guess I got overtaken once, but I got 2 overtakes, which is good. And on this apex, cart 21 is really slow, so I managed to overtake him on the outside. And after that, we all get to this long straight and me and 2 people managed to overtake cart 8 because he's just slower on the spot. But then we catch up to cart 14 and he's a lot slower, so we all overtake him quite easily. And after that, I catch up to this group of people right here and I managed to overtake cart 26 on the inside. But then cart 14 is holding me back, but then I also managed to overtake cart 21. I guess that's a double overtake. But when we get to this hairpin, I go for the inside and I actually managed to overtake cart 14 this time. And that's the end of the session. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, it will help a lot. And if you guys want to see cart 9's POV of session 1 and the lap times, check the description.